Alright, we're sitting down with this turbo board. I just got my harness put together. It's only video and power that I got hooked up. That's all I'm worried about right now, video and power. And I've got it fired up. This one doesn't even have a CPU in it. The CPU, I removed it. So there's no CPU in this board. I just wanted to get it baselined with some sync and all that good stuff. So there you go. So our video board is just throwing junk up onto the screen. Preliminarily, right off the bat, I marked a couple parts as bad. Those two parts right there. Because damn hot. I burnt myself on this 273. And this one's just as hot. It's a UPC 624. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up. UPC 624. It's an NEC. Is that a RAM? I don't know. But this is a 273, which is fire hot. Probably turn my furnace on and just leave this thing on, and the heat radiating from those two chips will warm up my shop. Yeah, I'm actually going to turn this off, because those things are fire-ish hot. There's a lot of bipolars on here. These are ROMs. Those aren't hot, which is good. This board could use a good cleaning. Yeah. I mean, I literally burnt myself on them. On this chip right here. Both of them got ridiculously hot. So yeah, those two need to go. I need to do research, find out what is a UPC 624. What is that? And then put the CPU back in this thing. Yeah. See what we get. Alright, let me do a little research, find out on these two parts. I guess I'll look them up on the schematic and see what... well, I know what a 273 is. But this one I'm not exactly sure. Is that a op amp? Is it an LM324? I don't know. So we'll find out. Okay, little maintenance on this board. I changed these caps. I socketed these two. This UPC, or what is that? What UCP 624 is the same as a DAC 08. So I'll put a DAC 08 there. This is actually a 74LS 373, not a 273. So I'll put that there. I got these caps replaced, and I'll put the CPU back in that thing. And then we'll fire it up and see what we get. Okay, I got that CPU unit plugged in. And we will go ahead and fire it up. And we are fired up. Oh, shit. I blew up a cap. Apparently put a cap in backwards. And we get nothing. Blue screen. Well, I don't have... I mean, I forgot to put those caps in there, but... Man, that was a little bit... That scared me. I blew up a cap. How about that? So let's take a little post-mortem look at this cap. Did I actually put it in backwards? Or is the board... Is the board mismarked? There you go. That's what happens when you put a cap in backwards, folks. Alright, I'm looking at this circuit. This is a 7805. And there are some RAMs here, 4016 RAM. Here's one, and here's one. And here's an op amp. Couple op amps. Anyway, what they're doing here, I do not have this put in wrong. I don't. It seems like what they're doing is they're using the 7805 in kind of a reverse way to regulate a negative 5 volts for these RAM. And this positive lead is actually filtering the negative output. So
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You got this right here as your... This goes over to that positive lead of that cap. And this would be the input leg of a 7805 to regulate 5 volts. It would be input, common, output. They're probably using the output as an input somehow, and anyhow, the input pin is what is connected to ground on this RAM. The input is connected to ground. The common leg of this thing is connected to 5 volts of the RAM. And the output pin of the 7805 goes to probably, I don't know, what does it go to? Yeah, I don't know. It's filtered by this cap. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that's going. I want to look at the schematic on this and find out how they have this wired up, how they have this incorporated. All right, chalk another one up to my mistake. There is, and in my defense, it's just hard to read this thing. And I saw the 4016, the RAM, the tri-voltage RAM, I saw that. And that 7805, that didn't make sense how I thought it was being wired up. And I'm like, and then I got to looking at the schematic, and I saw negative 12 volts. And I'm like, okay, where's negative 12 volts coming from? And it comes from the power supply. I misread something. I misread this. Right here, that is positive 12 and negative 12. I had positive 12 to both of those. And that sent a positive voltage that was supposed to be a negative voltage to that cap and blew that cap up. And that is why the DAC 08 is supposed to get a positive 12 and a negative 12 volts. That's why that was flaming hot. That doesn't explain the 373. That 373 being flaming hot, there was no excuse for that, so that was bad, but I cooked that DAC 08. I blew up that cap, and I'm going to replace that 7805 on this board, just to be safe. I'm getting this heated up right now. I'm going to remove that regulator, and I'm going to replace that cap again that I blew up. I've incorporated my AR for the positive and negative 12 volts. I'm still running 5 volts off of that switcher right there. So that will be the way that we move forward with this. 12 volts and negative 12 off of my AR, 5 volts off of that little guy. So let me swap out some stuff, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got the power hooked up. I got new regulator installed. I got this cap replaced. I put these chips in the board, 373 and DAC 08. Now I don't know if this is supposed to be a DAC 0808 or a DAC 0800. I'll have to figure that out. I put a DAC 0808 in. They're not the same chip. So that's what I'm starting with, and we're going to fire this up and see if this cap blows up. Should be fun. Let's do it. Brace yourself. Here we go. So far, so good. It did not blow up. It's kind of working a little bit. Huh. Interesting. Well, I think we got our power issues sorted out, maybe. I don't know what these RAM chips do. I want to check some voltages. So let me get the tripod. My meter. My meter. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we're going to roll with it. Okay. Input, this should be 12. Yes. And out should be 5. Very good. That's the regulator. So we've got ground here. I want to look at this RAM. Okay, that must be the ground pin. That's 12 volts. That just doesn't seem right, does it? What is this chip? $4016. That is a RAM chip. That does not have the proper voltage. It just doesn't. That should be -5. And I would think this is 5 volts or 12. Something tells me we're missing some voltage. Something ain't right here. Something, I need to look at the schematic a little bit more and find out. Because this is RAM. This is 4016 RAM. That's 4116 basically. 4116 RAM, I believe. And that has 12 volts. That should be ground, I would think. Something's weird. Yeah, I'll be back. I gotta look at some the schematic on this and find out what in the world is going on with our voltage. Okay, never mind. I was wrong. That's not a 401. That 4016 is not a RAM. It's a 4016. Just a basic 4016, which does get 12 volts on pin 14. So there's no issue there. Okay. I was thrown off. My brain automatically went to 4116 RAM. So, okay. All right. We don't need -5. And 12 volts being on 14 is right. Okay. All right. So, I think we got issues with probably sockets and stuff on this board. And these ROMs, who knows what's going on here. But our CPU board, I think it's working. The CPU board. We're running, right? At least we got our power situated. So that's good. All right. Next is I'm going to start looking into this board. And you know, I do have, this customer sent me 3 sets. So I could do board swapping and find out some stuff, you know, maybe. I think first things first, though, these ROMs, these sockets and these ROMs are brutal, absolutely brutal. And who knows if these ROMs are even good. So, yeah. And these are, what are these? 150, 150, 150, okay. Those are like selectors. Just logic, simple logic stuff, and then ROMs. And no changes. No changes by messing with the... Oh. Yeah, still no changes. Okay. Alright. Yeah, it's still just kind of doing this. Okay, cool. Alright, let me figure out next step. I kind of want to just pull these ROMs out of here and do a ROM check. See where we're at as far as software. So I think that's next. I'm in the process of programming new set of ROMs for that. Because, yes, these are masked ROMs, and I don't know if I'm just not reading them right, but they all seem to be bad. They all kind of give me garbage. So I'm going ahead and just programming a whole new set of ROMs for that board. And we'll put it back together and see if it looks any different. Okay. Okay, I got the whole new ROM set installed. And we're going to fire it up. We've got all the other ROMs reinstalled in this. I cleaned them all too. These sockets are not that bad. These sockets are dual swipe sockets. I think they'll be okay. If we run into a problem, I'll replace as needed. I've got everything plugged in. Let's see what this thing does. Nothing blowing up. That's good. It's still not good. It's still not right. I think it's about the same. So maybe those ROMs didn't matter. Okay. There are graphics ROMs that are labeled graphics on this board. So there's probably, I would say that this, I don't know. I don't know what's what. I could look at the schematic and see something is going to be the backgrounds, and then you're going to have scrolling data, how it scrolls back and forth. You're going to have characters, and you're going to have background. So what is what? Which is which? It looks like the scrolling is working properly, I would say. Background is not. And we have no cars on the track. No cars on the road. So the good thing is like I said, this customer sent like 3 board sets. So I'm going to do a little swaparooski, put on a different video board, and see what happens. Do we get anything different? This video board, there's not a whole lot to it. I don't know what is up with those ROMs, why I couldn't read them. Maybe I just couldn't dump them properly, because they are masked ROMs. They're not EEPROMs. So maybe the chip selects have to be put a certain way, which I don't understand, because I looked at the schematic, and for normal operation, they basically look and are wired up the same as a 2764. So unless there's some jumpers, which I could look at the schematic again and see, are there jumpers on here for masked versus 2764? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I kind of want to just do some swapping. I'm going to put on a different video board and see what happens. Okay, this is board number 2. Video board number 2. And it's about the same. Colors are a little different, but it looks the same. It's kind of messed up. Same mess up. That's different. That's cool. It's not exactly the same. But still no cars. So that kind of, are the cars on this board? We have issues on this board. So now what I want to do is go ahead and put a different CPU board on and see what happens. Just trying to learn what does what on turbo sets. What does this board do? This has an analog, a DAC on it, so that probably handles, I would say, the steering. Steering inputs are probably sent to here, maybe. Why is there a DAC on here? I don't know. But yeah, so it's pretty much the same nonsense. So let's try a different CPU board. Okay, I look at this board. This is the CPU board that goes with this one that I grabbed, and I put this on the bench. And the first thing I noticed, number one, it's got unencrypted ROMs, which is nice, but the PAL is backwards. It's probably dead. The PAL chip is in backwards. And I was like, is that just a goofy way that they mounted that when they laid out the circuit board? No, it's not. I took this CPU, this encrypted CPU off and this PAL is in the right way. That one is not. So this might just be as simple as a bad PAL on this. Possible. Okay, I switched that PAL around and put it in the right way. Plug this in and we get just static garbage. So what I want to do is put the PAL that's in that in here and see what we get. Okay. We'll see what we get with that different PAL in there. See if it'll run. And if not, I guess I gotta... Hey, look at that. It's telling me to push the start button. Huh. I want to check the dip switch. I'm going to make the dip switches on this one the same on this one. Okay, so I changed the dip switches to match the other one. And it kind of started doing something and then crapped out. I will start it over. Yeah, weird. You know what I kind of want to do is make sure my voltages are decent. Let me do a little voltage stuff and I'll be back. Okay, this makes no sense, but I checked the voltage and I had 4.8 here and about 4.68, almost 4.7 over here. My power supply was up as high as it would go. And it was frozen, and I actually turned my power supply down a touch till I got about 4.55 volts here, and now it's working. So you tell me, what in the world is that all about? I need to look at this game and see if this actually looks right. I mean, it looks good to me. I don't know though. I'm not 100%. It's pretty cool. The city landscape, cityscape. That is an awesome effect with those buildings. That is amazing for 1981 or whenever this came out. That scrolling effect. Now, is that the way that's supposed to look? How the road kind of shifted up there? Or is that supposed to be like a hill? That's a hill. That is supposed to be like that. Okay, well, I think this set is good to go. It's just got a bad PAL chip. You know what I want to do is I want to put my other, that guy that I've just put all those new ROMs on, I want to put that on here. Because I think this looks good. Yeah, so that's what I want to do. I want to, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out MAME videos on YouTube of Turbo and just watch it and see what it looks like. I think we're good. I love this. This building scrolling It's like a zoom effect. It's pretty amazing for 1981. It actually holds up and looks really good today. Interesting. Look at that. How cool that is. Now we're on the hill. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and check out MAME, and I'm going to have to, I bet you that PAL chip is in MAME, and I'll just have to convert it over to a JEDEC file so that I can, what kind of PAL is this? It is a 16L8. It's a 16L8. I could probably, I got 16V8. I can probably convert it. I don't have, oh, I do have 16L8. Yeah. So I'll program a PAL chip for it. This one's no good. And yeah, I'll look at the MAME file and see if that is in MAME. And all you do, it's like a binary file, and you just use the little JEDEC tool that's in MAME, and you can convert those binary files back to JEDEC, back to a JEDEC file, so that you can actually use it and program it into a PAL chip. So yeah, I need to do a little research. I want to watch this. I think this is good. I think this is the way this is supposed to look. The power thing is weird. I had to actually turn the voltage down a little bit. Maybe that's something with my power supply. Maybe when I had the screw all the way up, perhaps that did something to the current and cut the current a little bit. And all I had to do was turn it back a slight bit. Maybe that allowed the current to flow. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but this looks good. Let me do some research. Look at this. I'm going to look and see if I can't. I downloaded the main rounds already, obviously, as I had to program all those. And I want to go ahead and program a PAL chip. Okay, excellent. Progress. Okay, really quick, I did go ahead and just throw my other board, the one that I programmed all the EEPROMs for. I went ahead and threw that on. And it just quit running. I think these cables might be bad. Let me see if I can just turn it off, turn it back on. Yeah, definitely got problems. And it's locking up. Yeah. Okay, so this board has issues. Issues. It's good to know. Okay. Issues. All right, I still have not looked at the MAME on YouTube. I went ahead and I did another swap. I put my original CPU board that I was working on, I put the PAL back in it. Put the big Z80 thing back on it. And this is the good video board from the other set. Prom board. Call it video board, whatever. But anyway, this is what it's doing. So there's no cars, there's no background as far as like the side stuff. Yeah, so that means we have issues with this board. This one is apparently good. So yeah, just doing a little elimination stuff. This set has bad stuff on this board and the video board. That one right there, the one that I put all of the ROMs in. So that board has an issue. This board has issues. So yeah, all right, whittling it down. It looks like I might have one good set though, so that's good. All right, progress update. I tried dumping the PAL, no luck. They're all protected, so I was not able to dump that PAL, and I gotta look into that, see if there's somewhere I can find one. I went ahead and I tagged all the boards. This is CPU B. That's the original one that I replaced all the EEPROMs. B is that one. A is the working set. And after looking at, I went and I looked at MAME, and that is perfect. So this one is a working set, which is nice. This is a working P-ROM board. And this is A, board A, and it goes with this board A. Now this is the one that had the bad PAL, remember? Now what I've done is I've removed these unencrypted ROMs and I plugged it into this, because I think, if you remember, this thing locked up and would not run, even with the good board, the good video board. I've now had it running, I don't know, it's just been running like this. So now what I want to do is put the encrypted stuff back in it, the encrypted ROMs with that thing right there, and see if it locks up again. If it locks up again, then, or if it just does this, then I'll know that that's okay. Actually, I think what it was the good CPU board with that board was making it lock up. That's what I think it was. So I think we're going to be okay, but I want to go ahead and put the encrypted stuff back in and see if we at least get this. This is a pretty good start. So we know that the issues are on this board. This board's good. This is great to have a good set. I know all of my issues are this board. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the encrypted set stuff, the original stuff, back in this board. And just make sure it still does this. Make sure we're still at this point. Alright, I put the encrypted parts back in it. And it's working. Yeah, so it's not working exactly the same, I don't think. It's kind of froze right here. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be working exactly the same as it was with the unencrypted stuff. See, that's really goofy right there. I think this thing, that encrypted thing, might be bad. Because it was not the same. It freaks out right here and it'll crap out. Yeah, it just doesn't act the same as it did with the unencrypted stuff. Weird. That's interesting. I might have to replace that encrypted set. I'll just reprogram the ROMs and stick a Z80 CPU in it. Alright, we're back at this. I went ahead and programmed an unencrypted set of ROMs and just put a Z80 in here. This is the board set that had the encrypted stuff on it, which is all right here. Encrypted set. And it is exactly the same. It's acting exactly the same as it did before with the encrypted stuff on it. So yeah, that's not nothing to do with anything. But I could have swore it was doing something different when I had the ROMs and CPU from this guy installed in there. But right here, it's just, I don't know. Just for my sanity, I think I'm going to have to do one more Swaparowski and see if that's actually just ROM swap and CPU swap. There's the hill. Then we get a little bit of flash and then a black flash. And then it just locks up on this. Although I don't think it's locked up. I think it's actually like this. It looks like this is locked up, but it's actually not. And then this, yeah, rolling green nonsense. So I think it's actually probably the same. But I think just for my own sanity, I'm going to throw that other set back in and take a look at it one last time. Alright, I took the EEPROMs out of that board and I just swapped the EEPROMs into this board, and it is 100% different. See how it's got the street border? It just runs a lot smoother with these EEPROMs. The funny thing is I could not dump these EEPROMs. And they're just 2764s. Yeah, as you can see, these are 100% different. So there's something different about these. I'm going to have to look at why can't I could not dump these EEPROMs. I just could not dump them. And they're not mass ROMs or anything. They're just regular old 2764s. I don't know. Very strange. Anyway, yeah, it's definitely different with those ROMs. So I need to figure out what's going on there. Look at this, how different it is. Yeah, I got to get those ROM files. Okay, more weirdness, and I'm starting to think maybe these cables are bad. I've got the boards orientated different now, to where I've got the CPU board here to where I can work on it. This is the good video board, right? And these are the ROMs from the good set. I still can't dump these. I actually peeled this back to see exactly what this is. Does it have a window? Is this a one-time programmable thing? It's unreadable. It's a basic 2764. Intel. But I cannot dump those ROMs. Any of them. I don't get it. Yeah, it's just weird. But anyway, this is what this looks like. Okay. Notice the red border on the road. And how it acts and how it looks. Okay. And we're slowed down, come to a stop. Now we're slow and right here. Okay. We got the redness up on top there. Anyway, okay, now so we'll turn it off. And I will put the ROMs that I programmed. And these ROMs that I programmed are basically off of MAME, and they are the unencrypted set from MAME. But now you will see that it pretty much looks the same. The red border on the road, the hill. See, it wasn't doing this before. It was doing that on the other set too. We were just further along. There's the the red border on the road. So it's basically acting the same. Now we got the yellow border on the road. There's the snow. So we pretty much got the same thing now. I think coming up here pretty soon it slows down and stops. Somewhere around here anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I think that these cables are bad. Because I never did use the cables off the good set. But I've oriented these boards differently now. And I'm getting a different, I'm getting something different, right? So, yeah, we definitely have an issue on this board as far as the cars. I think we deduced that the cars come from the CPU board. Right? So. We want to get the CPU board fixed right first. It needs to be cleaned. I need to clean this board. It's pretty dirty. But I'm pretty confident now in my ROMs at least that I'm getting the same thing. I might put some different cables on here. I don't trust these cables really. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to start doing some poking around on this thing. See if we can find some issues. Alright. Couple revelations. This is the good set. The set A. And remember these ROMs that wouldn't dump? All of a sudden, set A quit working. And I had to put the ROMs that I burned, the unencrypted ROMs that I burnt for this board, in this board to get it to work. So these things, I don't know, man. They just don't work now. That's one thing for sure. But Another thing that I have discovered is these sockets are in fact garbage. Every now and again, I got it working right at the moment, but now and again you'll see like a white, let me show you, let me make it happen like that, and it just shows up, and it's these piece of crap sockets. Every now and again I gotta fiddle with chips to get it to go away. So these sockets are no good. I mean, it's possible that wasn't in all the way. I don't think so. But it seems like we might have socket issues with these blue sockets. They may have to be replaced. I mean, that is interesting. This one wasn't, but I don't know. I think it was in all the way and it was just goofy. I don't know. Seems to be fine now. Anyway, from just kind of learning how the board works, these ROMs seem to be the cars. And possibly, I don't know. For sure the cars up here, and I don't know about down. I'm going to continue to mess around with this until I find out what everything is. Those 8 ROMs down at the bottom, those are the road ROMs. These guys right here, these two, are the character ROMs. This one I'm not sure. These ones are definitely the character ROMs. And then these are other video. I know that the cars are some of these. I'm going to continue mess around with them and kind of document what is what. So yeah, I might end up having to replace all of these sockets. If I continue to see that kind of stuff happening, then the sockets are going to have to be replaced. Look at that. I don't know if you saw that, but we had flakiness there. Color flake. And that's from sockets. That color flake is from sockets. So, yeah. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so now I'm going to start troubleshooting CPU B. I have video A, which is good, on there. PROM board A, which is the good board, and coupled with this board, which has issues. And you can see it has issues. Now we have no video from this board making it out. So there has to be signals not getting to this board from this board, obviously. So some kind of control signals are not making it to there at all. And then we have problems up in the character area as well. It looks like we have the stripes. Remember the stripes on the road by this guy? But we have issues over here. We have bad sockets. Yeah. We've got bad sockets on this board. Bad. I've dumped all the chips, I think, and they were okay. This one had a broken leg. I had to fix it. It's probably messing up the whole chip. Yeah, it is. This one's got issues. I really need to go through and replace all the sockets on this thing. Clean this up. Yeah. But we need to see how this board interfaces with this board, because this has to send controlled data, some signals down to this board for processing, and that's not happening. So I think first and foremost, this board needs a lot of maintenance work done to it, in the manner of replacing all of these sockets, cleaning it, and going from there.